That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And welcome to the long-awaited return of DuckTales, the reboot. That's right, folks. Tonight, we are talking about Season 2, Episode 8. Very intriguing title here. Treasure of the Found Lamp. Oh, yes. Any DuckTales fan worth their salt knows what that means.
Yep. And ironically enough, this lamp remains lost for quite a bit of time. Believe it or not, it actually remains lost longer than the original lost lamp.
Oh god, that's very true. That's a damn good point. The original lost lamp is lost for what, like the first 5 minutes of the movie?
Pretty much.
All right. So, Jacob, I'm just going to lay out a thesis statement here. I think in terms of being like a big 90s throwback, like member berries thing with the movie, I got to admit this was a little bit of a letdown because it's like we didn't see the genie, we didn't see Murloc, you know what I mean? But in terms of like just a solidly written DuckTales episode, this was damn good, man. This was very on point. I really liked the direction the story went with this one. I liked all the adventuring elements mixed with the comedy. So, I guess like as a fan, I'm like, wow, there wasn't enough fan service. But you know what? There was enough fan service. The fan service was there. If anything, it was more subtle than this show usually goes.
Seriously.
So, what do you think of this one, Jacob?
I thought it was solid. I mean, like you said, it was kind of surprising, like how they obviously tweaked some elements of the original movie, like how Dijon, now Jin, is now like this, like this more serious, like this serious guy who's just.
I love how the episode just starts out and it's just like, oh my god, is that Dijon? Like one of the black marks of the original DuckTales because he's now like an unflattering racial stereotype.
And now his name was changed to Jin, which is actually kind of a subtle clue.
Yes.
Jin, which is actually a subtle clue, and he's actually definitely more flattering.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like calling an Indian person Dijon is like calling an Asian person ping pong or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's understandable why they changed it.
I only reference ping pong because ping pong was literally the name of Elvis Presley's Asian housekeeper in Blue Hawaii. Little bit of movie trivia for you there. Anyways. Oh, stay cool, ping pong. Anyways. All right, right off the bat, Jacob, opening shot, we get something that was a good subtle Easter egg. We get one of the scorpions from Treasure of the Lost Lamp.
Oh, it's a shame that there wasn't any launch pad, though. I mean, that would have just made it like. I mean, never mind. What'd you say?
Scorpions, the scorpion. We get a shot of the scorpion, the same scorpions that we see in the movie that they're trying to escape from. They crawl in the giant shell.
Oh yeah, the scorpions. I mean, I guess if you count the opening shot, there's kind of a scorpion.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think the opening shot, that scorpion is very much meant to. I feel like the design is definitely a callback to the scorpions in the pit from the movie.
Yeah. And also, well, technically, there's also a giant scorpion in the intro, so we kind of got it there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a good point. By the way, Jacob, we've talked about the movie before, but can we just talk about how good, like specifically, I just want to talk about specifically how good the opening sequence of the movie is again. I just want to geek out about that for a minute.
It definitely. One thing we definitely noticed was, like, though it is well set up and definitely makes the sets of the plot, It's animated completely differently from the rest of the movie, though.
Oh yeah, it's way, way, way more cinematic than anything else in the movie. And as an adult watching it now, that is like so blatantly obvious, and it kind of ruins the rest of the movie for me in a regard, unfortunately, because most of my memories of that movie come from the amazing animation in the first 5 minutes. But seriously, those first 5 minutes, man. I mean, it honestly might be the animated equivalent to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, it's great. It starts things off right off the bat. We've got like the most epic Launchpad McQuack crash we've ever seen on film, and then we've got that whole temple thing with the giant scorpions and everything. It's so good. Anyways, back to the episode.
We like to geek out about Lost Lamp.
Okay, so what did you think of the whole setup of this, where Scrooge just kind of like casually forgot that he even had the lamp, pretty much?
Well, I mean, think about it. He's been adventuring for probably over 100 years. He's bound to have forgotten something. I mean, like, he knew he had it, he just didn't know where it was. I mean, if you amass over 100 years of treasure, something's bound to get lost in the wayside.
And then this thumbnail that I have up right now kind of perfectly encapsulates what I love about the payoff to this. Like Louis just having the yard sale, and he got bored for 20 minutes in and just passed it off to Duckworth.
Yeah, that's classic Louis.
All right. So then we have what I like about this episode is that this episode has two branching storylines, and I feel like those two storylines really kind of dovetailed nicely into each other at the end. I feel like it was very smartly written that way.
where the triplets follow the trail of the lamp, and Webby, Scrooge, and Jin search the Isle of Ithaquack.
Exactly. Really well done there. Really well done. I really like that. Let's see. And of course, we have that great moment where Webby gets to set up the quest, and Scrooge's like, "Are you crying? This is my moment."
Normally I didn't think her to be one who would be up to like deceive people, but no, she goes right for it.
Oh no, I think this is perfectly up her alley. I love this. I think it's more kind of like the whole, like, she's just got such a big imagination, and so the whole like coming up with an epic quest thing. It'd be like if someone were to tell me like, "Hey Tiki, design a Disney ride," I'd be like, yes, I will. All right. Let's see.
I mean, if Scrooge McDuck asks you to make up a quest, you don't say no.
So that was all very funny. Oh, also one of the things that got me a laugh was what was it? The Ottoman Empire.
Where it basically takes that show and he's like, the one who who attacked my people for centuries. That's kind of a dark turn.
All right.
It's always interesting when this show can slip into some dark humor.
Oh yeah. So let's not dwell on it any longer, Jacob. Let's not bury the lead any further. We get a little bit of payoff to that whole running joke from last season of like Duckworth's ghost, the ultimate terror. It'll give you night terrors. It'll make you piss yourself.
Yeah.
The scariest thing to ever be seen in any medium, Duckworth's ghost.
Yes.
If we do get a little bit of a jump scare with Duckworth's ghost.
And it turned out to be Duckworth's ghost pet.
God. That was such a great bit.
Oh, yeah, like, don't worry, Francis, she's with me. Francis was pretty creepy, though.
Okay, I'm not saying this in any sort of like conspiracy theory kind of way, but I almost kind of got an LGBT vibe from the Francis bit.
Okay.
Like Duckworth and Francis are just kind of like casually vacationing together, And I say this in like a positive way. I love the idea of like Duckworth's ghost being romantic with like this crazy, freaky, interdimensional thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be funny. That'd be
I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know. It's like Duckworth's ghost, man. He's progressive like that.
Definitely, I can definitely.
Duckworth's ghost is a very enigmatic personality.
Wouldn't be opposed to that.
I don't know. I could totally just be reading into it, but it's just the fact that he's clearly on a vacation with this guy, and then Duckworth's ghost literally turns into a demon over interrupting the vacation. Like I said, it is the case, and like I'm totally all for that. I'm not saying that like, oh, it's forced, it's a forced gay agenda. I'm like, no, that's actually really funny, and I think kind of fits with Duckworth's character, especially the crazy off the wall Duckworth's ghost version of the character.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be too out of ballpark.
All right, so that was a great bit with Duckworth. Then we get my favorite character in the show, Jacob. You remember how much I like this character.
Yep.
Oh God, Gladstone Gander. God, folks,
Yep.
if you don't remember from season 1, House of the Lucky Gander was my least favorite episode of all of season 1. I really did not care for that one.
It's kind of funny that we both actually got our least favorite characters revisited here.
Oh yeah, Doofus for you, I assume.
Yes.
Right?
I never really cared for him in the original show, and apparently the creators never did either, and that's why they made him this way.
It'd be like if the time jumps to Infinity War were like, all right, let's do Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Iron Man 2. Let's go. Anyways, so yeah, honestly, like with Gladstone, I found him a little bit more tolerable this time, and probably the only reason why that was just because the whole episode didn't revolve around him. And that's the thing, Jacob. I feel like this is a character where in small doses, he's okay. In small doses, I get what they're going for with Gladstone. Like, Gladstone is very much a character out of the comics where he's just this very over-the-top personality. He's kind of like a comic strip character, and that he's got like one joke that they just run with, right? And so with that in mind, I feel like he works for like a one-off bit like this, but he is just grating as all hell for a whole episode.
I can definitely see that, especially when it was at Donald's expense.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started about that. But yeah, honestly, the bit I liked here was him singing the song about himself. That was probably the first Gladstone moment that genuinely made me laugh, I've got to admit. Okay, yeah, your favorite, Doofus.
Yes.
What the hell is going on with that? What is it?
His parents?
The what?
His parents and the syrup?
Yeah, no. The instrument he's playing.
I don't know.
I think it's like a theremin or something like that.
Probably to accentuate his creepiness.
It's very much. It kind of reminds me of like the Northwests in Gravity Falls a little bit, except reverse, right? Like instead of the parents having this creepy pull over Pacifica, Doofus has this like really creepy, unnerving pull over his parents.
Yeah.
And yeah, the pancake with first of all, Jacob, the hands and the pancakes, that I can't even explain it, Jacob. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. It's fucking nails on a chalkboard.
It's visual nails on a chalkboard.
Just the idea of it, just the mental idea of it. Just I can't stand it from a germaphobe point of view, Jacob. And I'm not even that big of a germaphobe, but I can't like literally my skin is crawling right now just thinking about it. I can't I can't stand the idea of someone like putting syrup on their hands and transferring it onto your pancakes. It's so gross.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's so gross, Jacob.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
And how is that? Okay, you're right, Jacob. Doofus is way worse than Gladstone is, because at least Gladstone like makes sense, like he's in character. But Doofus, it's like, how is that better? How is that better than having a thing to fill up the syrup with?
Yeah, it didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was definitely the what the fuck moment of the episode for sure. Oh, I mean, are you with me, Jacob, from a germaphobe point of view? Am I just taking it too seriously or what?
No, I mean, I'm not that much of a germaphobe either, but I'm definitely put off by it. I think that's the intended I mean, obviously, I believe that's the intended effect.
Well, yeah, but it's the intended effect in the same way that like the stupid that stupid Splinter episode of SpongeBob is meant to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Just because it's the intended effect doesn't make it good.
Well, to be fair, it's not really fair to compare it to the Splinter, though.
No, it's not, because the Splinter, you're right. That is like just pure Cronenberg body horror in the guise of a SpongeBob episode. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, at least here it's just, someone put just a short joke of someone pouring syrup on pancakes with their hands.
Okay, fair point. Fair point. When you put
I mean,
it like
it still doesn't make a lot of sense, but it still doesn't make much sense. Don't get me wrong, and it's
no, I mean, Jacob, it's just the idea. Like, this is gonna get a little graphic. I'm sorry, folks. I apologize in advance, but this is just what runs through my head. Just the idea of like biting into those pancakes with the syrup and like literally tasting like the sweat and the skin particles of someone's hand in the syrup. It's so nasty.
like I said. I think that's definitely the intended reaction is to be like, what the heck?
All right. Let's see. Is there any other points that I'm basically going like we're going to transfer to the side quest in just a minute, but is there any other points that I'm missing with the main quest to find the lamp?
Not particularly.
Okay. So yeah,
I mean, other than the fact that they see it being driven off to in the garbage.
right. So then let's go to the side quest. Honestly, I don't think the side quest stuff is as memorable as the other stuff, even if the other stuff doesn't involve our favorite characters at all. Well, besides Duckworth's Ghost. Duckworth's Ghost is, of course, our favorite character. But I say that only half sarcastically, Jacob.
I know.
Duckworth's Ghost might be my favorite concept of a character on this show.
Mainly because of how he kept hyping it up.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the side quest stuff? I thought it was just I honestly thought it was just okay. It felt a little fillery to me.
Yeah, it didn't really serve much. I mean, they could have definitely done more with that. Instead of just I think it would have been interesting to see someplace new other than at the Quack.
I agree. I felt like that was a little bit of a missed opportunity.
I think Jin should have seen something off. Like, why would the Greek gods be after this lamp?
Right.
Seeing it like put somewhere else. I think they did. I think if they all banded together, it could have been an interesting quest.
But having said that, I do think we got some good comedy out of Jin taking everything incredibly seriously.
It's like the Minotaur. It's like, yeah, it's actually more of a quiz.
Well, okay, honestly, Jacob, probably one of the funniest moments of the season so far is the "I've got your nose" bit. Because like at first the way I thought they were gonna play it is I thought they were gonna play it like Jin, because you see like a big close up of his nose, and clearly his nose is like an entirely different color than Scrooge's thumb, right? But so I thought they were gonna play it like that's not my nose. But instead, no, they did get dead seriously. Like, you fiend! It's not enough for you to take the lamp. You have to take my nose as well. That was great. That was great. Okay, yeah.
Comedically serious characters are among my favorites.
Right. So yeah, we end up.
He kind of, it's like in a way, kind of like Frank Drebin almost.
Uh-huh.
Though not nearly as funny.
So we end up at Ma Beagle's. I got to admit, I liked Margaret Martindale's performance here. I thought she did a good job. I mean,
It's my trash.
Not to say that she doesn't do a good job all the time, but I just thought the lines from Ma were particularly clever this time around. Like, my first wish, better children.
Like, why you have to hurt us, Bob?
Why you gotta be so mean, Mama? I gotta admit, Jacob, this episode is honestly like full of really clever comedy. That's one of the big standout this episode for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely good. It's like why you gotta be so mean, Mom?
Also, did you notice the homage to the original intro?
Oh yeah, when Ma Beagle and Scrooge were climbing the trash heap for the lamp.
Yes, that was an awesome bit of like subtle fan service that I really appreciated.
Yeah, I was like, well, that looks familiar. Like, didn't they already do that once though with Glomgold, or am I mistaken?
It was in the intro and it was Glomgold.
I mean, in the original series, it was Glomgold.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I thought they already paid homage to it already in this series.
Oh, in the series, I'm not sure if they did. I don't really remember it.
I might be mistaken though.
Okay, so then Jacob, honestly, one of my favorite bits of this whole episode was the payoff. I fucking love that backstory with Jin.
How his great grandmother found the lamp and actually fell in love with the genie. That
was so clever.
And wished for his freedom.
And it's all done in that cool kind of like how would you describe that art style?
Like almost, I don't know, it's kind of like almost like a painting, maybe like a scroll.
Yeah. Like Jacob, just like artistically speaking, that was one of my favorite sequences of the season so far. That really stood out to me. I thought that was really a really strong piece of writing from a DuckTales kind of like story building mythology point of view.
And like it explains why he's so desperate to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at first it was like gonna be like. At first it seems like it's gonna be some kind of weird comedy payoff. I was like, "Is that what you thought? Is you're gonna get a wish?"
Yeah.
But then no, it turns out he had a good reason for it. It's like it was his family, and and looking back, it's actually foreshadowing that his name is Jin. Foreshadowing because Genie isn't because Jin is an alternate name for genies.
Ah, nice.
Or it's like Genie is derived from Jin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a really clever touch.
All right, so let's.
But admittedly, that was a really nice payoff to this episode. It's like, it would have been interesting if they tied into it more, but probably had a bit more foreshadowing to it. But it's not really that big of a deal.
Okay, any other thoughts on this? Oh yeah, we get the bit with the museum at the end. That was nice.
Oh yeah, where they talk about where they basically pay off Scrooge, like them saying Scrooge doesn't tell us anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like now he can.
So yeah, honestly, Jacob, just kind of getting into final thoughts with this. Honestly, the more we talk about it, let me run down the episodes really quick. I mean, what happened to Della Duck was great. Last Christmas was great. Town Where Everyone Was Nice was honestly probably like the best fan service the show has ever done.
Three Caballeros.
Yes. Most Dangerous Game Night I really enjoyed. But honestly, Jacob, I don't want to say this was the best episode, but this might be the most well-rounded episode of season 2 so far. I'll go that far. I think it had a little bit of everything. It had some good character beats. It had a lot of good comedy. It had some really good fan service, but subtle fan service, not on the nose member berry fan service, even though they could have easily gone that route with the episode. So yeah, Jacob, I'm really liking this one a lot.
This is definitely a welcome return to form after it was been like a month since Della did the last episode.
Let me see. I think it's been over a month. It's been the last episode was March 9th, and this is May 7th, and this came out on May 7th, so it was an almost 2-month gap.
And now they're airing episodes on a back-to-back daily basis.
Yeah, along with Big Hero 6, which is gonna make our lives really complicated scheduling wise, but we'll do it. We'll manage.
Like we love you, Disney, but why do you do this to us?
Well, I mean, My Little Murphy's Law and Star vs. the Forces of Evil already fell victim to like Disney just vomiting out a shit ton of episodes, and we just couldn't keep track of them. So, oh. Anyways, with Star vs. Force of Evil, Jacob, I was saying this off air, but I think what we're gonna do is we're going to do season recaps of the stuff we missed, or even just season recaps of like all the seasons. You know, just do like how many seasons are there total? I'm sorry, 4, I think.
Yep, on Star, yeah.
Yeah, so just do 4 podcasts, one per season to kind of wrap up that show. I kind of like that idea. Folks, what we're going to do with DuckTales, typically, there might be some exceptions to this. We'll see, but we're going to try and keep to the schedule with DuckTales as the new episodes come out. We're basically going to try and cover each new episode the day after it airs, which is what we did here. It's what we're going to do tomorrow night for the Outlaw Scrooge McDuck. Hopefully we'll get that.
Which I also thought was a good episode.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll stick to that as close as we can. Like we might double up on Saturday and do episodes. What is it? Episodes 10 and 11 on Saturday instead of doing one on Friday. It's like there might be slight deviations, but generally speaking, our goal is to do one podcast per day after the episodes air. Big Hero 6 is another situation. Right now, I am leaning towards doing weekly recaps of Big Hero 6, which would mean that Jacob, Dragon, and I would record one podcast a week on Big Hero 6 that covers all the episodes that came out in that week. And I think that'd be a good way to do it. Big Hero 6 is a show, like, I really like the show, but it's definitely a show where I feel like it's got, like the episodes are less standalone. I feel like it's got more of like a, I mean, don't get me wrong, DuckTales has a good arc to it. Basically what I'm saying, no insult to Big Hero 6, but I'm just saying that DuckTales is the better and more popular show, frankly. Sorry, Big Hero 6. Algorithm speaking here. So I'm saying DuckTales, I'm totally cool with doing a podcast for each of these episodes, even as they roll out daily. But Big Hero 6, like if they were doing one episode of Big Hero 6 a week, I'd be down to cover it. But it's just too much to cover like each individual episode as its own podcast. So I think that's what we're going to do is we're going to do weekly recaps of Big Hero 6 for the time being, for the foreseeable future. So, all right, Jacob, nothing in the comments this episode?
No, there's no one in the chat, and I don't have anything else to say.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us, folks, and see you later. We will be back tomorrow with the Outlaw Scrooge McDuck.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! You fiend! It's not enough to steal the lamp. You have to steal my nose as well.